Welcome back. Well, wake up, get dressed, get the kids up and ready for school, food, carpool, big meeting, doctor's appointments, bills, 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 and the list goes on and on. Does the balancing act sometimes stress you out more than the to-do list does? Our next guest says it's time to prioritize. Here to help, please welcome Grady, the author of 52 Strategies for Life, Love, and Work. Good morning.
Good morning, Deborah.
You know, somehow we all have this idea that everything is in balance. They keep saying, and we hear it over and over again, you need to bring balance to your life. And balance suggests to me that you have a perfect little slot for everything and it all works.
And it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, you would think, I thought my master's degree or 20 years of experience as a business and corporate speaker and consultant would prepare me, but it was really my kids, my son specifically, who is severely mentally ill, and he really helped me learn that there is no such thing as balance. It's a mirage.
There are so many layers that we put in our lives that really tip the scales in one way or another. And it kind of goes back to, I think women in particular feel this guilt because it was a part of our culture, it was a part of society, especially when you had less women or fewer women in the workplace.
Right.
And it was like the sign of a good woman and a good mother and a good wife was to balance everything and never complain.
Well, and the idea of work-life balance is antiquated. It was in the 18th and 19th century when laborers were working 16, 17 hours a day, 6 days a week. Now we're constantly connected and people can get a hold of us at any time, anywhere.
Yeah.
So the whole concept is outdated.
Where was your breaking point where you finally said, okay, not only can I not do this in the way that I thought I could, but it's okay?
I think that was the hard part, right? Because you see all these pictures of families on Facebook and social, and they look like they have the perfect family.
They lie. They lie. Yeah, we only post the good stuff.
You know, can you be the CEO who first bakes cookies for her kids' school and volunteers for PTA and then goes to work and then comes back and picks them up from the bus and then yet still remain...
You love this oil painting? I painted that.
I know. And still remains sexy, fit, and fun for your evening.
Yeah.
You know, nobody can do that consistently. And if they can, they're just showing off.
Yeah. Okay, so forgetting that work-life balance, first of all, toss that out of the window, and then you have to sit down and kind of have a game plan. And one of those things you say is to identify your priorities and look at the areas of your life that really matter to you. And priorities takes on a whole new meaning because sometimes what we thought was a priority is not.
Right. And the question you have to ask yourself first, do I define what they are, and do your actions match your intentions? Is where you're spending your time where you say it's most important.
Yeah. Okay, so we certainly know that family is important, career can be important, finances can be important, but realize that some areas that should take priority over others and know where that lies.
Exactly. And in order to do that, you want to rate yourself and really think about what your true priorities are. So let's say it's work and family and health and whatever else. You know, think of it as a pizza pie or a plate. Where are you on a scale from 1 to 10? 1 meaning I'm not at all where I want to be, 10 meaning I'm exactly where I want to be, and consistently identify whether or not you're spending your time in the right places.
Yeah, you actually have a plate that you use as the analogy. You have a plate sitting up here right now, but that analogy there of where things rate in your life, and that will give you an idea of what emphasis you're putting on something. Also, assess your priorities, rank how you feel you're doing in each area. That's important to be honest with that.
Sure. Okay,
devote yourself to what matters. And that's the part I think where a lot of us get stuck, as we say, okay, I laid it all out there, now I have to do the action.
Right. And you think about it, you train people how to treat you. So I work with a lot of CEOs who say, well, I support work-life balance, but they're sending email at midnight. And so if you're responding to that email, you're basically sending the message that that's okay. So really be deliberate about where you invest your time and when you invest your time.
And sometimes it's not comfortable. Yeah, there's that balance wheel that we were talking about, but sometimes it's not comfortable. I remember a friend who was working with a CEO who said, my priority is to spend more time with my children because my children are my priority. And she said, well, no, they're not. And he goes, how dare you? Yes, they are. She goes, they are not a priority if you are not spending more time with them.
Exactly.
Now let's get about doing it. And they looked at, she goes, no more meetings across town. They come to you, or that meeting is on the phone, right?
Well, and I love it when people say my family is my top priority, but they're sitting at the kitchen table checking their email and on their phone, or you see it in a restaurant where every single member of the family is on a screen. Yeah. So are your actions matching your intentions?
And our kids take cues from us. So when they become teenagers and we don't understand why they're not paying attention to us, it's like, well, you may have been in the room, but you weren't really paying attention to them. And then that song comes up, cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Right, okay. Yeah, the kids in the audience are staring at me like, what song are you singing, lady? Yeah, it's not by Beyonce, so there you go. Okay, so how do we know if we're spending time on the right things? Because sometimes we feel like, and I'm going to bring up the conversation you and I had in the green room. Right. Your son said, well, where are you going? He didn't want you to go.
Right.
And so guilt can pull at us, but there are still the right things that you have to also do for yourself and ultimately for your family.
Well, part of it is having clear boundaries and being able to say no. We feel so guilty when we're not able to do what everybody else needs us to do. It's really about identifying what's most important in your life and then being where you are when you're there. You know, are you present? Because you could spend all day long with your kids, but if you're not present, then you're not really focused on your priorities. So work will expand to fill the amount of time you have. Really focus on what you need to do to be efficient with the time you have.
Yeah, and make sure those priorities in your life aren't passing by while you're reacting to the stress mode. Because we spend so many, I remember losing my keys once and I was just like, I was going on my rant about where are they and the whole bit. My son goes, Mommy. And I'm like, no, I can't talk to you now. We lost the keys, Mommy. I lost the keys. He goes, they're right here.
I do that with my glasses. They're like, they're on your head.
Yeah. All right. So the thing is, don't beat yourself up and just make it work. And there's no such thing as a perfect balance, but find what balance works for you.
Exactly. It's different for everybody, but give yourself some leeway to not be perfect.
All right. For more on Ann's tips to prioritize your life, head over to our website at greatdayhouston.com. There you'll find a link to her site where you can read a chapter from her book and take a communication style assessment for free.